Montana De La Rosa gets the TKO victory over Ariane Lipski, man. It was a rough one, AJ. It was a rough one. You know what I'm saying? And like, listen, this is a situation where it feels like the company, the UFC, is like, I want to get behind Lipski. You know what I mean? Like, I want to, but it feels like Lipski herself needs to maybe get cut from the UFC, you know what I'm saying? And not in a bad way, but go and get a little more experience in the regional circus, you know what I mean? Go and get your wrestling up, go and work your grappling, and then come back to the UFC. Lipski is super young, man, you know what I mean? She's not nearly anywhere close to the prime of her career. And sometimes growing up in the UFC is not the place where you want to get that experience at. What did you think about the fight, man? And how impressive was Montana De La Rosa, man? Because this is a much better performance than her last fight against... I think it was Maeda Bueno Silva. It was a draw in that fight, I believe.
It was a draw. Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, she put on an absolute clinic. She showed exactly why wrestling has to be your most fundamental, fighting. Well, no matter what, yeah, you start on the hands and feet, but anybody can take you down once that aggression comes. And she literally put on an absolute clinic, man. It was very rough for Ariane Lipski, and that's what I was going for, man. And Lipski had these sneaky elbows from the bottom, but even at that, she was on the bottom. So Montana De La Rosa really ran away with it. Lipski's hands looked very crisp. It was good to see, very crisp on the feet. And I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Lipski's training out of ATT down in Florida, so she has a good camp around her. Yeah. She can learn that stuff, and you got to go into the fight knowing you're fighting Montana De La Rosa. She's obviously a collegiate wrestler. She's been wrestling forever. So what's she gonna do when the chips go down? She's gonna wrestle. So you got to be ready for it as a Muay Thai striker, and just absolutely didn't. Ariane Lipski was not ready for it at all, and basically had no solution. She was cool with being on her back. She was cool, got elbowed up. It was rough.
No, I'm with you, man. And it's just interesting because Montana De La Rosa, in my opinion, over the last couple of fights, the reason why I picked Lipski to win this fight is because De La Rosa has been very one-dimensional. It's all about the grappling and the wrestling. The striking is almost non-existent, you know what I mean? Unless it's ground and pound. And that's what was interesting is because Lipski did the same thing, man. She pulled the Kevin Holland, man, where he said, okay, I know I could hurt you on the feet. And she did hurt De La Rosa on the feet, but she overextended herself right into a takedown. It's not popping the jab and being careful. It's I'm going to throw a haymaker at you, try to get you out of there. But then you put yourself right there to be grabbed and put onto the ground, man. And that's exactly how it happened. And it's just frustrating for me as a fan of these fighters because it's man, MMA, you think you would know. In the UFC, you have to do it all. You have to be able to do everything. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, that's where you can't really get too hooked onto these fighters. You have to be hooked onto just the outcome of the fight and what the realistic possibilities of the fight are. And this could be a situation where maybe I, let my bias overtake me on this situation. But nonetheless, man, Montana De La Rosa, to get your first career finish, let me see. It took her 11 plus 6, what's that, 17, 18? Took about 18 fights to get her first career finish, man, which is very, very interesting because I think that this is going to boost her up those rankings a substantial amount. Listen, a finish is a finish, man. That's what we love to see here. You have any last takes on this one, AJ?
Nah, man, it was an absolute clinic. Like I said, yeah, I too also picked Lipski just because I thought Montana De La Rosa was also very one-dimensional, but she proved that one dimension can get it done.
And that's what's interesting, right? Is because sometimes, man, you go to the well on the grappling, man, and that's all you need to do. But what happens, when she runs into the person who can grapple and strike, man? And that's what I'd like to see. We'll talk matchmaking in a minute, man.